Hey guys, this is Krang. How you guys doing? So CG did it today. We knew it was coming. They told us when it was coming, but it still really hurt. Cut the hard node max refreshes from 8 back down to 5 again. I hope you made a lot of progress on your farms. I sure did. I was able to finish off BTL. Really did BTL at 24 refreshes until it was done. Made great progress on Red Sith Trooper and Hux. Have both of them about 70 shards away. So going to finish those up in the next 3 weeks or so, just doing one refresh each. But it really brings into play a question that I really wanted to talk about a little bit, which is how you manage your hard node farms, because hard node farms are so important. If you're behind on your hard node farms, it can just increase a ton of pressure because you never feel like you can catch up. So figuring out the right way to manage your velocity with your hard node farms in the most efficient way, right? When should you buy crystals from the store or buy shipments with crystals? When should you do a refresh? How many hard nodes should you farm at the same time? So now that we're back to this world where we only have 5 sims per refresh, wanted to just kind of go over some of the principles I use when I'm trying to manage my roster. If you want to take a look at my roster right now, I'm putting my GG link in the comments and description so you can take a peek. I'm a 2.5-year player, so I started in September 2.5 years ago, and I only have about 5 more hard farms, not counting the Mando tunes. Going to get them as soon as I can once they hit the tables. Um, but very exciting, actually. All my ships are all done, basically, and just have some of my lower use, I have to get Krennic and and some of those guys someday, maybe when I have all my hard farms free. But goal right now is to finish the first order guys and then go and hit the Mando tunes as soon as they drop and maybe work on some of the hard farms in between. Or I'm doing the Kylo push right now and probably just farm shock rods, stun guns, and whatever else I need to finish those guys up. Hopefully that will be done soon. That has been a tough grind to go right after Rey into Kylo, but I just want it all done. So let's talk about how we manage um, farms, and particularly how you can figure out the optimal way to farm. And the key principle number one is have a plan, right? Uh, One of the things that drives me absolute crazy is people talk about nodes being good nodes or bad nodes or whatever, and RNG happens, right? But the drop rates for shards across the entire game are identical, right? It's all the same. And if you do any long-term analysis of drop rates, do it yourself. You can look at what other people have done. It all converges to 1 out of 3. If you do 3 sims, you will get 1 shard. And what that lets you do, because it's a standard drop rate, you can compute something called expected value and average over the RNG over the course of a farm. And what that lets you do is figure out when your farm is going to be done based on your plan. And you can build all your plans around that. And if you're talking about 1 day's worth of sims, no, you can't guarantee that. But if you're talking about 60 days worth of sims, where you're talking about hundreds of sims, it averages out and you can get very reliable guesses as to when a farm is going to be done. So I'm just going to run down the quick numbers you need to keep in your head. And the first number is 80 crystals per shard. Okay, in the store for all new era tunes, everything you get from the store is going to be 80 crystals for every shard. If it's a 50 pack, it's going to be 4,000. If it's an 8 pack, it's going to be 640. It's the same, right? That's going to be your baseline, right? So when you're talking about farming, what you want to do is figure out what is a good deal for my crystals that is cheaper than shipments, because there's enough shipment opportunities for any tune that once you become less efficient than the shipment price, you should just go right to the store and get it. So we're going to talk about how you do your daily farms every day over time to be more efficient than that 80 crystals per shard. Okay, so the second number you need to understand is your energy for the tune. Is it a 60? Is it a 16? Right? And then how many sims is the current standard. Right now, it's going to be 5. We're not going to think about Cantina. Cantina, you can go crazy on because there's no limit. Hard nodes, you have to work against the limits. And when you do that, you have to really think about how you're going to spread your energy out, how many you're doing at once, right? Okay, so we've got, say it's a 20 energy farm, right? The first order guys are nice. They're 16, so you can actually squeeze a little more in. But if you're at a 20 energy farm, 5 nodes, 5 sims gives you 100 energy to do that refresh, right? Your drop rate is going to be 1/3 of that. So it's going to be 5/3, which is going to be a weird number, 0.667. Okay, so that's our baseline, right? For how we're going to get if we get no refreshes. So if you need 280 and you do no refreshes, you're going to get 1.6 per day. It's going to take you 175 days. It's kind of garbage, right? Okay, so we don't want to do that. So you can't do no refreshes unless you don't care about a tune. Because the other thing you have to really be worried about is the tune becomes less valuable over time, right? If you get it early on in the first month, it gives you more value than if you get it 9 months later, right? If you're getting gas out this pass in Arena, turns out he's coming out June 4th, right? Coming back. If you're bringing that team into Arena right now, you're getting a very different experience than if you brought it into Arena 7 months ago, 8 months ago, right? Now you're getting hammered constantly because everything can beat it, right? So the longer you take with your farms, the less value you get at the end. So it's really a balancing act. If you want the tune immediately, you're going to either have to have hoarded all the resources stored up, or you have to pay through the nose. And that's CG's effectively their business model, right? So what we're trying to do is figure out the balance between the two. Can you optimize such that the minimal cost in crystals versus the maximum value of the team? So what we're really talking about is when does it drop to the tables, and then how fast can you farm it? So 175 days with 0 refreshes. What happens if you double that? Let's say you get 10 sims, so 3.3. So now we're 84 days. You cut your time in half. Okay, so 84 days, that's a little under 3 months. What happens if you do that second refresh, right? This one costs 50 crystals, gives you 5 more sims. That raises your expected shards per day. Again, over the life of the farm, you can bank it. Can't bank it on a single day, but you're going to average 5 shards a day if you do 75 crystals to do those refreshes, plus your energy cost, which is going to be 300 energy. We're still in the free energy tier. So 75 crystals for 1 tune is all you pay, right? And if you do 2 tunes at that, you're just going to be paying for a little extra few energy refreshes, which those 50 energy refreshes on normal energy are the most cost-effective thing in the entire game. You should be getting those every day, pretty much no matter what, as soon as your crystal income gets enough to afford, because that's what's going to drive your roster. So 56 days. Now that's doable, right? That's a hard node farm. 56 days. Your cost is going to be, the first one is free, just 75 crystals a day, under 2 months. And that's just going to be doing 15 sims constantly. Your value for that, right? Remember, our buying it in shipments. If we compare your value for that, 75 crystals for 5 shards, that's 15 crystals per shard, right? Compared to 80. So that's 5 times as good a deal as buying it from the shipment store, right? So if you haven't done your refreshes, and if you haven't refreshed your attempts twice, you should not touch any of those shards for crystal packs at all, because you're basically walking away from super cheap resources. Okay. Should you go to the 100 refreshes? And should you do 100 refreshes for energy? Again, comparing against the baseline. And here really it matters how many you're doing, because if you're paying for those 100 crystal refreshes, the cost for those 5 sims, so let's say it's just 100 crystals, right? 100 divided by that 1.66 you're going to get for those 5 is 60 crystals per shard. Okay, that's gone up dramatically from those freebies. If you have to buy extra energy in order to do those extra refreshes, it starts going downhill fast. And if you have extra hard node farms you're neglecting to do those extra refreshes, you're also getting a very bad deal. You're leaving those cheaper sims on the table. So my feeling is it's always best to be working 2 or 3 hard node sims at the same time, right? Doing those up to 50 crystal refreshes, maxing out those super cheap shards, and then just dealing with the timetable, because you can mark those 56 days on the calendar, right, and say, hey, am I going to be here? And then look, do I need to be spending those crystals on gear? Do I need to be spending that energy on farming gear, right? Because sometimes if you get the shards done and the gear's not done, the toon is still useless, right? So the only reason you should accelerate faster than that, in my mind, is if you really have a plan that, hey, I'm going to be ready for everything but the toon, and I'm going to really fast track this guy to get to the finish line. So something like Shakti for the gas event last fall totally made sense to push very hard for her. Some of the Jedi Revan or Darth Revan tunes, when you knew those events were going to be coming up rapidly. Good idea to move fast. So, okay, hope that helps you. If you have any comments or want to talk about times you've done a tune really fast and burned a lot of crystals, feel free to leave a comment below. And stay safe, everybody. Be well and be excellent to each other. Thanks so much.